So today we're going to be talking about keyboard shortcuts. So this is our table of contents, but let's begin with the introduction. So keyboard shortcuts are like key combinations that allow you to perform tasks that would typically need a mouse or a trackpad. So to use a keyboard shortcut, you're gonna hold down on one of the modifier keys and press the final key of the shortcut. So, one of the most common keyboard shortcuts, as you'll see here, is to copy with Command C. So you could like highlight text, and then you copy that text, and then when you go to another document or another piece of software where you can write, then you can paste it, and you'll be able to paste that text in there. So to do that, you want to just hold Command, well, highlight it first, hold Command, press C, and then release both keys, and then you've copied it. So there are multiple modifier keys, and there are different keys depending on sort of what device you're on. So if you're on a Mac, you're going to see pretty much all of these, really. It's only on Windows where you don't see Command, you don't really see Option, but instead you'll see Alt. But pretty much the only difference here is the Command, where you do have it on Mac, but you don't have it on Windows. So Windows. And don't worry, we will be looking at Mac as well. So the Windows key is a standard key on majority of keyboards that use a Windows operating system, and you should see it is labeled with the Windows logo and is typically positioned on the left side of the keyboard between the Control and Alt keys. There are some keyboards on Windows where you may not see a Windows key, and that's probably just because it's a specialized keyboard for a specific program. But normally you will have a Windows keyboard, and if you're thinking about getting a keyboard, make sure it has the Windows key if you're using Windows. Very important. So let's look at some general Windows shortcuts. So first we have the desktop, which is going to be Windows, the Windows key, and D, which brings you to your desktop by minimizing all tabs, and clicking it again closes your desktop and brings you back to your open tabs. You're going to have your lock computer, so that's going to be pressing the Windows key and L. So to secure your computer, it is suggested before stepping away from your computer to protect your data. We have the File Explorer, so that's going to be the Windows key plus E, and that's to open a document or a file. So we have some more here. There's quite a few, so just bear with me here. So we have selecting, which is Control A, that highlights everything on your current folder. That can be useful if you're trying to mass delete something, then that's a really useful shortcut. Saving is Control S, so if you want to save an open document, file, web page, that saves your work so you don't lose it. One tip I will say with this shortcut though is that you want to be careful and make sure that the software you're using does enable that shortcut. Most will, but you also just want to be sure so you don't accidentally think you saved it, but then you didn't, because losing your work is horrible. So you have undo, which is Control Z. So that's if you want to cancel your last action to undo a mistake. I want to make it very clear that if there is one thing, only one thing you remember, it is Control Z, because it will save you in loads of scenarios. We have printing. That's going to be Control P, so that's to easily print your current document or page. Pressing these keys directs you to the printing menu. So if you want to print something, then you just hit Control P and it'll let you print something. We have opening and closing, so that's Control N to open and Control W to close. It allows you to open or close a new window, document, or tab. And then you have Control Alt Delete, which closes the program you're using, closes your active window, restarts your computer, shows a Windows security box with several menu options, and your computer will shut down. So I'm gonna skip this, but because you'll notice that like both these slides are like the exact same. So I'm just gonna skip that slide and just keep with this one. So copy is Control C, cut is Control X, paste is Control V. Maximize window is F11 or the Windows logo key plus the up arrow. Open task view, that's the Windows logo key plus tab, and so on and so forth. So you can just read off of that. Yeah. So now web browsers also have some pretty useful shortcuts as well. So that's going to be Chrome, Firefox, or Edge. And there are other browsers out there that may have even more shortcuts that are super useful, but these are the main three. So to refresh the page, you can click Control and F5. If this does not work, then you can type Control and R. To switch tab, it's Control and Tab to switch between one browser to another with this hotkey. So if you want to open a closed tab, so if you closed a tab recently, you can hit Control Shift T. This is especially useful when, let's say, you misclick and you just accidentally closed a tab. You can just quickly click those keys, Control Shift T, and it'll bring it right back up. So it's super useful, that shortcut. If you want to create a bookmark, you can do so by clicking Control and D, and a bookmark saves a specific web page, so you can access it faster and easier. So let's say you were researching something, and then you want to shut your computer to go and do something else, and close all your tabs, then you just can bookmark it, and then when you come back to your computer, you can find it again, the page you were looking at, so you can continue your research. So you can continuously zoom in and zoom out to find your ideal size on the page. So if something is super small, and you can't see anything, then you can zoom in. If something is super big, same thing, you can zoom out. So you can click Control and plus to zoom in, and Control and minus to zoom out. So we have some document shortcuts that are really useful. That's going to be bold, which is Control and B. That's going to be underline, which is Control and U. That's going to be italics, which is Control and I. These are all super useful because searching through menus on stuff like Word and Google Docs can get time consuming. So here you have some document and more document stuff. So you have left aligning, which is Control and L, and right aligning, which is Control and R. And what basically this is going to do is if you want to change the way your text is aligned on your document. We have even more document shortcuts. So we have centering, that's to align paragraphs in the center, that's Control and E. Justifying, so that's text aligned on left and right side, Control and J. And you got hyperlink, which is just Control and K. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some Mac shortcuts, and they should be similar, but we'll see. So you have the common shortcuts, pretty similar to the Windows one that we saw. So just the regular ones, Control, Command C, Command X, Command V. So a good tip is that Control on Windows is equivalent to Command on Mac. So if, for instance, on Windows, copy is Control C. On Mac, it's Command C. So some more common shortcuts are the Spotlight search, which is going to be Command Space. If you want to search for a page or for words and phrases, that's Command F. Now you also can do this on Windows as well. If you were looking at a web page and you want to find a specific sentence, you can hit Control Shift G, I believe, and that way you can find specific words in that article that you're reading. So if you want to print, it's like Windows, it's Command P, save, Command S, and so on and so forth. It's, again, Command is equivalent to Control on Windows. So if you want to sleep, log out, and shut down, you can simply click the power button. If you press and hold that for 1.5 seconds to wake up or put your Mac to sleep, you have the option Command power button or the option Command media eject. That's going to put your Mac to sleep. Control Shift power button or Control Shift media eject. That's going to put your displays to sleep. So just as a reminder, your displays, anything, if you have a monitor, then your monitor is your display. If you have just your laptop, that's going to be, the screen is going to be your display. So control power button or control media eject, that's going to display a dialog asking whether you want to restart, sleep, or shut down. So this is especially useful if you don't want to go through the menus to click, 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 and then restart. You can just use that shortcut and that's going to restart your computer for you, sleep, or shut down. So you have control, command, and the power button, which is going to force your Mac to restart without prompt to save any open or unsaved documents. You're going to have Control, Command, and Q, which is going to immediately lock your screen. You have Shift, Command, and Q, which is going to log out of your Mac OS user account. You will be asked to confirm. And to log out immediately without confirming, you're going to press Option, Shift, Command, and Q. So then we have some web browser stuff. And again, it's like Windows. On your web browser, you'll have some shortcuts that you can use. So if you want to refresh the page, that's going to be Command and R. And if you want to open new windows and tabs, that's going to be Command and N. And you can click Command and T to open a new tab in the same window of your browser. So Command and N is a new window. So you can also zoom in and zoom out. It's like Windows, except it's not Control, it's Command. Again, if you want to switch tabs, you can click Command, Option, and left and right arrow to switch one browser tab to the other. You can create a bookmark, which again is very similar to Windows. It's instead of Control D, it's Command D. And to open a closed tab, Command, Shift, and T. So, yep, those are documents very similar to Windows. So left aligning is going to be Command and L or Command Shift and L, and your right aligning is going to be Command and R or Command Shift and R. So centering is going to be clicking Command and E or Command Shift and E. So a hyperlink, which is a reference to a website accessed by clicking it, you're going to be able to do that by clicking Command and K. Justifying text aligned on left and right side, that's going to be clicking Control and J or Command, Shift, and J. So what are the benefits of keyboard shortcuts? So there are a lot of benefits to keyboard shortcuts, but definitely if you want to I guess level up when in your computer using skills, it definitely makes using a computer a lot more efficient. So if you're working on something, if you're typing, or if you're editing a video even, something like that, these shortcuts are going to be what makes your work way faster. So it can turn a 3-hour project into a 1-hour project. It saves a ton of time. So for more information, you can go to these sources.